Amanda Jane Ridgway. Running a business as Indigo Angel LLC with YouTube channel Indigo Angel registered with Colorado Department of State. Exists in the pseudo-spiritual industry since 2016. Known by community for selling psychic services, tangible products and books, and more recently courses. She claims to be master at gridworking and planetary history. Shane Blondin. Co-founder of Earthstar Academy registered as Earthstar International Incorporated with Corporations Canada. Known by community for selling courses teaching management skills and ascension, facilitating healing sessions together with his wife. Both of these individuals present themselves as divine, angelic beings, flawless and perfect. But are they truly who they present to be behind the theatrical illusion of this mask? Leading seemingly perfect lives in front of the public eye, the situation is totally reversed behind the curtain. Associates and partners in crime, secret lovers, students of the occult. Two vessels devoid of any light and overrun by demonic entities. Amanda Jane Ridgway. List of known criminal offenses: bribery, child abuse, child neglect, computer crime, conspiracy, counterfeiting, credit/debit card fraud, criminal contempt of court, cyberbullying, drug possession, drug trafficking/distribution, DUI, forgery, fraud, harassment, hate crimes, identity theft, insurance fraud, money laundering, murder of first degree, obstruction of justice, perjury, prostitution, public intoxication, solicitation, stalking, tax evasion/fraud, theft. Shane Blondin. List of known criminal offenses: child abuse, computer crime, conspiracy, cyberbullying, drug possession, DUI, forgery, hate crimes, identity theft, insurance fraud, attempted murder of first degree, prostitution, stalking, theft. Before deciding to join Amanda in a conspiracy against Sunrise Monk with an attempted murder, Mr. Shane lived quite lavish lifestyle, partying, indulging in substances, hiding behind the Earthstar Academy flag. He used his natural gift of speech to manipulate the students of the academy, convincing them to meet him for a sexual intercourse. Shane also studied the occult inspired by crimes of his secret lover. That led him to utilize dark arts and combine them with the manipulation within the boundaries of academy as well as for the control of his loving unaware wife. In order to stay close to the source of financial security, his abundant hard-working wife, he played a long game posing as a twin flame, to be seen as such in her eyes knowing that this is what she desires. Aside of the verbal and emotional manipulation, in which Shane specializes, he continuously performed blood rituals adding his contaminated blood into her consumables. Blood contaminated with several viruses and diseases, which Mr. Shane contracted not only from his secret lover, but also through prostitution, selling his sexual services and body to his clients in the academy, including other men. That is not where it ends. Shane, being on and off in his relationship, followed an unconscious pattern of substance abuse and sexual intercourse with random people, where he impregnated and abandoned several women, including an underage girl. This wasn't the only time he exhibited predatory tendencies, as he regularly engaged to send pictures of his genitals to young girls. Consumed by hate and envy towards gifts and abilities of Sunrise Monk, Mr. Shane joined his secret lover on a campaign to get rid of the Ascended Master. Using his position within the business, he kept stealing money and funneling it towards mutual goals of destroying and ruining life of Sunrise Monk by funding several black magic rituals of high-ranking practitioners, including death ritual. All of that led him to a moment in which he decided to join a ritual with group that was conspiring and working towards the same goal, stealing and using Sunrise Monk's identity for personal gain, forging documents, committing several hate crimes. He took part in stalking, cyberbullying, hate crimes and insurance fraud. Thinking that his secrets remained secret, he made a deal with his lover to commit insurance fraud and to take part in extreme occult ritual in October 2023 on Halloween, of which main goal was to sacrifice two angelic beings in exchange for riches and power. One of them, Sunrise Monk, the other one, his own wife. Certain of the immense abundance angels bring down to this earth, entire groups started spending money, which they did not have, before they managed to see the effects of the ritual. Along with selling their soul to the devil, the group made a blood pact, exchanging HIV-contaminated blood, indulging in sexual orgy under the influence of substances. One thing they did not know, however, is that true earth angels cannot be sacrificed.
against all the evil that hell can conjure, all the wickedness that mankind can produce, we will send unto them only you. Rip and tear until it is done.
When you brought your poison to me, I consumed it, and you did not know how am I still alive. You wondered if there was a mistake in preparation. The books that your family of witches used to sacrifice people mention a type of divine being which once almost destroyed your kind. The same books warn you to avoid these beings. Your people thought we are only a myth. You ignored this and started a war. So here I am once again, and this time I will eradicate your kind from existence, forever. You ruined lives of many people. You murdered 4 of them before God sent me onto your path to take care of you. Clueless of who I am and what I can do, thinking that I am just the same weakling as everyone else your people target. Weak men of light who do not know their power. Once you failed and kept failing over and over. You have sent her to watch me, Miss Morgana, the catfish, a hitman. This was the only way for you and your group to avoid karma and steal from me. You needed her to break my heart, lower my state to get me off my path. The idea was born to cast a love spell, to give me the illusion of twin flame. You were training her how to catfish me, as if you ever knew anything about me. And she couldn't do the job because she got feelings, as designed by fate. How little did you know, fate works in very peculiar and unbelievable ways. Only I had the gifts and eyes to see the bigger picture. What you see when you look at me is the light after my transcendence. But I wasn't always like this, no. In many of my past lives, I reached the very bottom of all the bottoms. I murdered, slaughtered, executed, tortured. I caused genocides, consumed by darkness. In it, I found the comfort, and in me grew a beast, horrible, ferocious beast. Full of blood, boiling rage, I was the Hell Walker. All the demons in hell were brought to their knees out of fear of my presence. Silence! Until one moment in time when I learned to transmute the darkness into light. Such powerful darkness faltered under the light of my consciousness. I gained my freedom and my ability to transmute any and all the negative into positive, pain into power, just like gold. It was the divine source of creation itself that designed me from scratch, and I followed its will by the book. I was created to become a secret weapon, an anglerfish with the lure made out of light, to bait and devour the dark ones. You woke that beast up from its slumber, and now you are on the menu. 4 gods from the same mother and father, quadruplets, siblings, partners, consorts. The history repeats a long cycle. Only one of us learned the true nature of who we were. I was the only one to find out my true identity and power. I have called myself Osiris many times before, to protect and hide who I am from the monitoring spirits. Knowing your conniving nature, I wasn't mistaken when you tried to make a deal after finding this out with the wife of Osiris, Isis. And I laughed at you as you were trying to conspire against me with my higher self. Isis was the only one who answered the call of the divine and took appropriate actions to purify this vessel, to prepare it and embody my true divine nature. The unawakened vessel of my sister, Nebethood, is somewhere in Europe. You, the unawakened vessel that was designed to embody the positive qualities of my brother, Seth. And then there is her, Miss Morgana, the vessel designed to embody the energy of Osiris. Once again, Seth tricked Osiris, and this time Osiris was meant to correct the past life mistakes and come clean. It was the last call. You, as my evil twin, are total opposition. She, as one of my true twins, is exactly the same. Aside of identical features, the way to recognize this is after the eyes. Eyes of the phoenix, the light of the soul inside the spine, seeping outside through the surface of iris. And you thought you would play a joke on me with your silly magic to make me believe she is what I am looking for, thinking that she is not. The destiny played joke on all of us. I, Isis, am the master healer and master magician. I embodied my divinity, gaining access to prophetic and divine magic, which is my nature. My power comes from pure heart and dharma. No need for silly systems and catalysts. No binding and bartering. If Miss Morgana would have chosen to refuse the participation in death ritual against me on Halloween last year, she would have a chance to be in an infinite loop of power growth with me. But she failed every test given to her by the universe, and then, at the very end, I reached out with my hand for a short moment. I gave her certain bits of information as a final test. She took it all to you, repeated what I said, and thus betraying me yet again. Since then you learned about the clone which you accessed whenever you tried to steal a memory from my Akashic records, so that I cannot heal. It was prepared especially for you. Each time you accessed Akashic records of my clone, your soul was shattered into smaller pieces, which in return allowed the demon you worked with to consume you faster. Your downfall was sped up. In the moment of final betrayal, the spirit of this universe called judgment upon her. The both of you lost your divinity and you are now just karmic. Mere mortals without the potential to embody that energy. Her ancestors, which are also my ancestors, had to work against her, and because of the judgment she lost my protection. You are losing your foundations, stability, homes, health, beauty, your minds, and everything else that you value over love. As karma is distributing the equivalent of your choices and actions against your soul family member. She is also receiving the backfires to energetic link with you as you pass down your demonic attachments and sexually transmitted demons to her. She tried to manipulate me under her control. Our hearts have been split by the source, yet her confusion remains from backfired love spells the both of you attempted on me. I know you cannot feel any link since a long time. It is gone. No more twin flames nor quadruplets. Not in this lifetime and not in any other lifetimes. This vessel now embodies all of the gods' energies at once, which justifies my rapid evolution. The merging ritual in heavens is done. I have suffered immense pain from the moment I was born. The starvation I experienced forced me into a life of dry fasting. I renounced all forms of toxins many times in the lifetime of this vessel until I was completely free of addictions. For the past 7 years I consumed outrageous quantities of monoatomic gold, sourced from the Dead Sea, pure gold, dragon's blood, and products of bees. I have done extensive shamanic work with entheogenic plants, which helped me with deep meditational states, where I performed miracles on this vessel, and finally, I begged the source and everyone in my life path for forgiveness. I forgave myself for everything. I conquered fear, lust, hunger, envy, shame, and guilt. I embraced the truth and clarity. I mastered the art of detachment. Through the work that I have put into self-development, eventually my heart became light as a feather and the scale of my act was balanced. My transformation reached the peak of completion, and you chose to start a war against the embodiment of a pure-hearted deity. What did you think will happen? Seven gods are here. Meet the royal family. You were asked countless times to stop and retreat. It was not because I was scared of you, and it was not because I was too weak to do to you as you did to me. It was because I tried to spare you the absolute terror. You were mocking me behind closed doors, and then you were getting off after the rituals thinking about what will happen to me. But you would never be able to match my divine patience. I waited, observed, and researched you, honing the abilities of this vessel. The hunters were so sure of themselves, they forgot to pay attention and stay alert, until it was too late, realizing the hunters were in fact the hunted since the very beginning. And now we will not stop until all of you are completely destroyed. All of you. What is left for me is to go through initiation in the halls of Amenti, after which I will be able to shape this reality with the sheer power of my will. This will further allow this vessel for the ultimate embodiment, the Amun-Ra itself.
Amanda Jane Ridgway, hiding behind the veil of her pseudo-spiritual business and a large group of blind followers, over the years she developed a truly criminal nature. Exhibiting both psycho and sociopathic patterns of behavior depending on the time of day and night, she plays a role of a savior, a prophet and a God's chosen angel. That is the way she wants and needs to be perceived by her community in order to continue with her scam. The absolute truth is that Amanda does not believe in God. On the contrary, she believes to be the God and she feels entitled to own everything and everyone, which fuels her need for obsessive control. Amanda laughs at the divine and its will. She mocks God, attempting to replace it to play role of the divine in lives of others. This is due to her inability and refusal to heal and stop destructive patterns, as well as the volume of her demonic ego. Younger Amanda worked as a stripper and a prostitute, which is where she learned ways of the street. She learned to scam and steal. This was the time in which she was exposed to extreme corruption of human nature and acquired a multitude of demonic attachments. During that phase of her life she ruined lives of many men following the same pattern, which was further enriched by her developing talent in black magic. Stemming from the fear of abandonment since childhood and a lack of father figure, Amanda's hate for men lead her to treat them as replaceable objects. When she looks at people, she sees only projects and measures their value by the amount of time needed to get what she wants from them. As time went on, a pattern was born in which Amanda learned how to enforce a trauma bond by quickly ending honeymoon period through sabotage in every new relationship so that the partner moves away from her. Whenever she intended to reconnect the link, she used witchcraft and seduction to bring back the targeted person. This way she has built a network of men and women, which she could use for whatever needs she had. This was a crucial element in her little empire, where through the practice of black magic she attached a cord to target sacral chakra in order to draw creative power and energy of abundance from her victims. Amanda is a shapeshifter, a doppelganger, copycat. Since she does not have her own connection to the spirit of abundance, as her energy centers are ruined due to demonic possession, lacking sense of self and identity, she preys on multiple people in a continuous cycle to suck them dry out of their energy in order to sustain her life, switching the energies and usurping another's identity and gifts. Through this practice she ruined life of the father of her children and many other men, using sexuality as weapon against unaware victims. Whenever a man resisted her, she used more radical methods, threats, false police reports and every possible strategy to ruin someone's life, as she knew bringing someone down to low depressive state in combination with glamour and love magic will force and attract the target back to her. Some men never left the prison. Few men, however, lost their life. When Amanda had met one of her ex-boyfriends, a military officer, just as corrupted as her, exhibiting bisexual obsession and filthy derogatory sexual practices, she learned through him how to use dark web to connect a network of human traffickers, child sex traffickers, Satanists and criminals. Combining that with her network of connections to criminals within different offices and institutions of the system, which she gained by working as a prostitute, she figured out how to marry men to gain wealth from their death through a connection to life insurance policy salesmen. Aside of life insurance, she also gained ability to forge and manipulate several federal documents, control the outcome of court cases through corrupt judges, hide and clear her criminal records with the help of corrupted police department of Denver, Colorado. It is no secret Amanda Jane Ridgway is known under multiple names such as DeMarco, Santis Devan, initially her mother's De Leon. As a consequence of her marrying a man, she took on the new identity for a clean score and coupled it with cleared record by hiding the trace of any charges and crimes on previous identities somewhere deep, where no one would look for them, thanks to her connections. Creation of her online business, in which she scams people out of their money selling her powerful delusions disguised as healing, served as a perfect cover-up for her dark lifestyle behind the curtain. Through the pseudo-spiritual business, she continuously created new connections, finding soft, naive and weak men of light who she could easily manipulate with magic and seduction, to harvest them for their sexual energy of creation and, as mentioned in some cases, poison them for life insurance money, as well as overall debt incurred on their identities through fraud and forgery. Money gained from this scheme was then divided amongst her connections within corrupted network and justice system officials. It is believed in this current moment in time Amanda ended life of 4 men. Possibly a 5th victim arose during the production of this video. Year 2017 was the year when Sunrise Monk came into contact with this monster for the first time. From that moment unknowingly to Sunrise Monk's awareness, she set a target mark on his head, after realizing the high consciousness and abundant destiny of this being through abuse of divination and several other spiritual gifts. Since then she kept working on bringing his life down and attract him into her field, by ruining his family life and relationships through the deception and witchcraft targeted at him and his partners. Amanda is possessed by a powerful demon which hates happiness and is aroused by destruction of any relationship which exhibits positive emotions. Later on, when achieving certain results, Amanda promised to sacrifice Sunrise Monk's soul in exchange for access into a corrupt secret society full of satanic, occult practitioners, highly ranked in social structure, which would yield her a new way of living, giving into her addictions and luxuries without a worry. What she and the organized crime group did not know at the time is that fate was weaving these events pushed by higher forces of divinity into complete obliteration of the worldwide network of evil and corruption. Over the years she managed to bring Sunrise Monk to a situation in which he could strike and make the kill. After traveling together, they made a deal to work together and grow their businesses. Sunrise Monk moved for the time being to Alabama, staying with Amanda in her house. Few successful projects later things turned bad and Sunrise Monk discovered the true intentions behind Amanda's efforts. Her agenda was to keep him in the background, hidden from public as much as possible, not to share his gifts and talents, turning him into a slave working for her success. She aimed to control his entire life including finances, to trap him and not let him free himself, while also forcing him into a depression and bring him to his lowest possible state for her plan to work. She knew what his destiny is long before him and did everything possible not to allow him to grow and stop his plans to execute his own project of healing the world. Once the Black Widow set the perfect circumstances for the sacrifice to be made, thinking it will be easy to swap the destiny and energy with the Chosen One, she asked for his personal details and attempted to poison him using a legacy of her bloodline, which worked on everyone before him. Sunrise Monk did not die, however, due to his rapid healing power and escaped the tyrant instead, having no resources at his disposal aside of faith in the divine. After a miraculous escape and returning back to United Kingdom, Sunrise Monk, wanting peace, worked on his healing. But the powerful demon was just beginning the persecution. After ejection from Sunrise Monk, she proceeded to implement the usual strategy of reaping abundance from the identity of her victims, using Sunrise Monk's passport and any information she could gather. The problem arose because of the sole reason of him still being alive, unlike the victims before him. This powerful demon cannot accept rejection and loss, so she slandered Sunrise Monk and his business by spreading lies which were a projection of everything she hates about herself, while simultaneously studying his behavior to embody his energy. That is a standard practice of doppelgangers. After she managed to ruin his work, she gathered a team of groupies to further continue to assassinate his character through gossip, lies and projections. Some were bribed to do so. Most of them have never seen Sunrise Monk with their own eyes. When the recently ascended master started to fight back by speaking truth and reclaiming his own voice, she then masterminded a massive plot to destroy his life and murder him, so that no one ever finds out of her crimes and so that she can keep the money she stole from him using his identity. A coven of lowlifes was established, trained by the mastermind Amanda on how to perform black magic against Sunrise Monk. She also taught her members, especially Mr. Shane, how to control and dominate people using spellwork and bringing them down to a low vibrational state for the domination magic to work. None of these people knew that she answers to a higher society of witches. Wanting to gain membership, she used people in newly created coven as a leverage to do her dirty work. The beginning of persecution of the ascended master. At first, Amanda and her team created fake accounts personifying Sunrise Monk, which were used to send rude messages to Amanda, in order to create false evidence, and later on, derogatory messages were also sent to other people to make it look as if he did it. In later period of this mastermind, she attempted to use AI for generation of false evidence out of Sunrise Monk's voice present in his videos. Using her criminal network within the institutions of the system, she created a social security number from Sunrise Monk's passport, which she asked for right before poisoning him. Further on, a false marriage certificate was forged and multiple events of forging his signature to commit fraud and obtain wealth. The newly created social security number was used to open accounts in Sunrise Monk's name. Loans were taken and used to fuel lavish life, spending habits and pay off people to continue lies and slander about Sunrise Monk's character. A business was created on Sunrise Monk's personal details and business loans obtained. There were many methods through which this demonic entity attempted to get the Ascended Master in trouble. One of them was creation of false business selling page with designer bags and accessories. The money were collected and no items were ever sent. This was supposed to cause buyers to report Sunrise Monk to authorities. False earnings were reported to IRS without tax being paid as means for causing more trouble. These false earnings were also used to obtain COVID benefit for employers from a government scheme. Continuing, when Ascended Master started speaking truth about Amanda's crimes, she obtained life insurance policy on his name and attempted to get rid of him with multiple occasions. She collected money from her followers to fund paying for rituals using many different black magic practitioners around the world, including the trip to Algeria, which was meant to connect her to his solar plexus and sacral chakra to harvest his abundance. When it turned out it was impossible to murder Sunrise Monk due to his power, she ordered forging a false death certificate to obtain life insurance money. All this time she continued to funnel any money she could to pay any practitioner that was willing to work with her. She was searching for something that will work. Meanwhile, attempts at getting Sunrise Monk into trouble continued. Cars were taken into lease on Ascended Master's personal details and then they were sold for cash. Later on, drugs were planted in one of these cars to put the blame on him, saying this is his car. A telephone number was taken on his details and used to communicate to make it seem as if it's him committing frauds and crimes. The phone number was used to get Uber to places where serious crimes were taking place to make it look as if Sunrise Monk was there, and that was organized in tandem with criminal network. An entire life was lived by Amanda and her partner, Mr. Felix, who was signing documents with forged signature of Sunrise Monk pretending to be happily married with her. In all the court cases as well as banking and financial frauds, a false address was used with Sunrise Monk's identity, and a post office worker, most probable in Alabama, Montgomery, was paid to collect all the mail to Sunrise Monk and hide it away. This way nobody would ever find paper evidence and Sunrise Monk would never find out about the court cases against him. She attempted to get Sunrise Monk in trouble with court several times and she lost almost every case as her black magic was not working against the power of Archangel Michael protecting the justice system. The only time the verdict was towards her victory was when she managed to put the case through a corrupted judge, who she uses to cover her crimes since a long time. The same judge was responsible for ruining the relationship of her daughters with their father. Chris, the father, confirmed that she knew the judge. It is believed that the judge contracted STD due to sleeping with Amanda in exchange for her favors. She sued Sunrise Monk for the material, which he created when working with her, pretending it's her original work and he needs to pay her. She lost. During 4 months of working with Amanda as a slave, sleeping under the desk, deprived of money and sometimes being denied food, Sunrise Monk has done work worth of at least $210,000 by industry standard. To this day he received $2,461.38 and was told that he slept in her house for free, so he should shut up. Amanda appealed in the court several times pretending that Sunrise Monk is nowhere to be found, or that he is mentally ill. She has paid a corrupted doctor within her network to falsify documents showing that his mental state is not all right. She created several false police reports making up lies to try and get him to be locked up so he cannot speak truth. She also paid other people within her network to do the same so her lies are believable. She crafted an entire web of lies like cogs in a machine so that everyone's lies match up and work in tandem. In order to steal more from Sunrise Monk, she forged a false birth certificate for her, now deemed adult, 18-year-old daughter to make it seem as if she is their child. Changing her daughter's identity to make it seem like Sunrise Monk's daughter will also get the daughter into prison, as it was done with her knowledge in order to get to money left for him. Child benefit was also taken, and further on, the same birth certificate was used to frame Sunrise Monk into kidnapping and murdering his own child. Nobody would know how did the child look like, meanwhile her daughter has her old identity intact. As Sunrise Monk continued to expose her crimes, she got into trouble with officials and she further created more chaos, introducing even more lies, throwing all the blame onto Sunrise Monk. She incurred massive debt and tried to use the false marriage certificate to assign all that debt onto Sunrise Monk and stay clear from it by separating herself. That includes the house in Pensacola, Florida, in which she lives right now and which she obtained for the money stolen from Sunrise Monk. She used Sunrise Monk's clean credit score to obtain the house and later on assign it to herself by forging his signature through false marriage. As she got into trouble due to his report of stolen identity and ongoing investigation, she tried to reassign the house with problems back to Sunrise Monk. Many terrifying lies were invented about who Sunrise Monk is and what he does, how he earns his money, what is his character. All these lies were projection of the monster that lives inside of her vessel, attempting to swap the energy and look innocent. In year 2020, Sunrise Monk have met Erki, Amanda's boyfriend, in Egypt. Erki was her last known victim before attempting to murder Sunrise Monk. She has executed this entire process flawlessly using his identity. Erki knew that something is wrong as he was waking up in the middle of the night and was using sage to cleanse her vessel during her sleep. Sunrise Monk figured out that she poisoned him, as his natural gift allowed him to come into contact with Erki's spirit. Wanting to expose that in one of his videos, Fire Lord, he said that police have found the body. He did this knowing that officials are watching his videos, so that she would panic and contact the man responsible for hiding the body, asking if it is true. This way the detectives would get a clue. It is not certain, however, if the body was of Erki or her previous victim. It is believed that she knew this man through her mother. The body was put inside a large plastic bag and hidden by a body of water between roots of a tree that is constantly being washed by the water. There was another smaller plastic bag added into that bag later on with all the forged and falsified documents, as well as remaining evidence to hide it from police. The man responsible for hiding the body was asked to make a hit on Sunrise Monk's life, but this request ended up with an argument and hitman demanding $10,000 a month for keeping quiet about the body, or he will report it to the officials. That's where the trouble started piling up for Amanda. She used the clothes that Sunrise Monk left at her house, not only for her rituals and voodoo dolls, but also when called by officials to provide DNA for testing due to case of Erke's death reopening. With a double-sided tape under her fingernail, she scratched Sunrise Monk's things in an attempt to frame him for murder. Her obsession and focus on ruining Sunrise Monk's life remained due to an ancient demon possessing her vessel and soul, demon who did not want to accept loss, demon which waged a war with Sunrise Monk through thousands of lifetimes. Amanda used intimate and personal pictures and videos of Sunrise Monk, which he sent to her when they were in honeymoon period, to frame him for pedophilia, pretending he sent them to one of her daughters in order to create false police report. She also created a fake OnlyFans account with his name using these intimate materials to make it seem as if he was prostituting himself online. She also sent these out into dark web communities along with his identity and identification document. Using her experience with human trafficking, she tried to get Sunrise Monk into trouble, to cause his organs to be harvested or to get him trafficked and sexually assaulted, recorded on a video. She paid a hacker to create a clone of Sunrise Monk's phone so that she can gain access to his social media and email boxes, in order to see who is he communicating with and to track him down by his GPS location. Amanda did not reach her status through an honest work and her YouTube channel. This is only a cover-up, as she makes bigger bucks by money laundering that's connected to human trafficking and child sacrifice, where she also assists in rituals. All this was happening meanwhile in the background she continued to slander his name and bombard him with black magic from her rituals and rituals of others she paid to, along with the coven she trained. She also received some help from the Higher Masonic Society, which she tried to gain membership into. The pattern was the same, do multiple rituals aiming to achieve the same effect and then spread gossip about this within her communities. For example, she performed rituals to get Sunrise Monk to open his old wounds and go back to heavy drug use. After that, she spread gossip about him being drug addict and not being able to get a hold on his life. She then laughed about the situation, waiting and expecting to see it play out. Unfortunately for her, Sunrise Monk already knew how to defend himself since a long time and everything was being returned back to her. However, her low vibration, lack of consciousness and extremely limited awareness prevented her from noticing that the effects of her magic are actually ruining her life. One of examples is when Amanda contacted Sunrise Monk's friends and exes to pay them for any information that could be used to tarnish his character even more. She contacted the ex, which initially was a link for Sunrise Monk and Amanda to get to know each other. The same ex who tricked Sunrise Monk into believing that her child is his son. Amanda, believing the same lie, tried to cause pain to Sunrise Monk, so she paid her money in exchange for filing a court case to remove Sunrise Monk from parental rights. Later on, she proceeded to spread gossip about him being a horrible father. When she got back to heavy drugs and alcohol with a regular, daily use, she continued to deal with demonic entities, forging further contracts under influence of strong substances while working with the devil. Her and Mr. Felix have got into swinging under the influence and swinged their way all around Florida. By that time, Sunrise Monk was exposing them both for spreading HIV and herpes, but they were not bothered and continued to willingly indulge in derogatory sexual practices, making more people sick by the time. It is no surprise she also attempted to use that against Sunrise Monk, saying he gave these sexually transmitted demons to her when it was Mr. Felix right after Sunrise Monk escaped being sacrificed. It is vital to insist on HIV testing on the spot, as she previously falsified test results thanks to her corrupted doctor. The entire group will be called to be tested along with Sunrise Monk right before the court case proceedings. As things developed and, thanks to Sunrise Monk's actions, she ran out of money, being unable to pay the drug lord for expensive substances, she gave her permission to sedate her younger daughter and let the drug lord molest her as a form of payment. These are the effects of another of her rituals that backfired onto her unconscious demonic ego. Money-hungry Amanda took part in money laundering scheme to sustain herself, but when things went south, she attempted to contact Sunrise Monk with a hidden intention to transfer dirty money to him as means of bringing peace, but in actuality to become clear and get him into trouble with police. He did not take the bait, as he is aware of everything 100 steps ahead. During all these events, having no creativity of her own and needing to harvest someone else's sacral chakra to be able to create, Amanda started to copy and imitate Sunrise Monk's style on her YouTube channel, preparing to sue him yet again for copying her. She abused divination and her connections to World of Witches in order to continuously spy on Sunrise Monk and destroy any opportunities or connections he was making. Even his friends were experiencing the attacks from her. The responsibility to protect them was piling up on his shoulders. During the persecution period, Amanda brought Sunrise Monk into attention of other psychotic dark practitioners who saw destroying him as a challenge, including a whole another coven that started its own crusade to strip the Ascended Master of his power and bring him down to his knees. all the members of that coven have lost any spiritual gifts and abilities they had and are awaiting their imminent execution through a fast-acting terminal illness. There will be no more mercy for those who choose to stand in his way, as every attempt to slow him down acts against entirety of humanity and accrues incredibly massive karma. One possible scenario, which Amanda feared, was a collaboration of Sunrise Monk with Z Earthstar, and this was the moment in which Mr. Shane joined the crusade to persecute and destroy him. It's important to note that Shane, envious of his abilities, have already hated Sunrise Monk since a long time. Both of them playing with the occult science in Sunrise Monk's energy opened a Pandora's box, releasing all the worms and skeletons from the closet and allowing him to see and read everything about them and their past, which further on sparked the psychic investigation that lasted for the past 1.5 years. All of this while being severely attacked from every direction, working daily job and growing his business by following his passion and life purpose, making moves behind the curtain to counteract their schemes and protect those unaware of the sinister events. Recommended chain of actions to take. Amanda Ridgway, the Black Widow, feels untouchable and does not believe that she will face justice for her current and past crimes. In order to prevent Amanda's corrupt network connections from intercepting and killing the case before justice can be served, Sunrise Monk must create a counterweb that will overwhelm the corrupted network, making it impossible to silence the case. In order to achieve that, he must synchronize the same report story all around the world and with many different institutions, where case is due, so that it's impossible to shut it down by evil authorities. Knowing that several individual investigations are ongoing, he will be the mutual element, the final key that connects it all together. A call to police of Pensacola, Florida, with report of the entire story giving Amanda's details and house address. A call to Child Protective Services informing them about child neglect and possible child molestation of Amanda's daughter. A call to IRS explaining tax and benefit frauds done on Sunrise Monk's name. A call to Federal Trade Commission with the report of identity theft and all the fraud. A call to U.S. Postal Inspection Service with the report of mail fraud. A call to Federal Bureau of Investigation with report of entire story including group members from other countries that will be the crucial key to connect all elements together. A call to Police of Newmarket, Ontario, Canada, with report of parts of the story crucial to Mr. Shane Blondin and his crimes, past and current. A call to Royal Canadian Mounted Police reporting Mr. Shane Blondin and his past crimes, insisting on investigation of prostitution within Earthstar Academy and potential HIV contamination, as well as funneling companies' money into a murder plot against Sunrise Monk. A call to Police of Atlanta, Georgia, with the report of Mrs. Noko's part in the plot and protection of criminals. A call to Police of Huddersfield, UK, with report of Mr. Felix Hyde's crimes against Sunrise Monk and his whereabouts. A call to the National Crime Agency, UK, with full story and Mr. Felix Hyde's involvement in the plot. A call to Police of Austin, Texas, with report of Ms. Morgana Stone and her part in catfishing, doxing and murder plot against Sunrise Monk. Multiple calls to several other institutions and police divisions for further spread of the information about this case, of which location will not be given here to ensure the success of this criminal case, not being shut down by corrupt government officials.
You thought you were truly mastermind, and your plot surely would succeed. If I was just another victim, it was all meant to fit perfectly. You could not predict that I have gifts and wisdom beyond your comprehension. You failed to realize my true strength. Even after the travels together. In Egypt, I read your mind and saw your desire for filming in the desert. So instantly I manifested an opportunity with a trip to film there. You have not connected the dots. You stayed blind to my essence. Always busy with your nose in your phone, harvesting energy from your blind followers to boost your ego and continue surviving. And with such a low, almost non-existent awareness, you dare to insult me and act as if you know me so well. You haven't got a clue, not even 1% of who I am and what I can do. I alerted you to my plans in one of my videos, so you blocked comments without supervision. No problem, I hired someone to message all of your followers on every platform, informing them of who you are and linking to my videos. Soon, everyone will know, and next, we are going global. You shall have your 15 minutes of fame. You tried to break me down all these years, use me as a sacrifice to gain access to a high society of practitioners who stay in positions of power through petty witchcraft. The reason they need humanity in low frequencies is so that this pathetic magic keeps working for their benefit. They know what is coming. High-ranking politicians, high judges, celebrities, chiefs of police, bankers, and leaders of investment institutions. You are made into an example as the weak link, The rest won't be allowed to stand in a courtroom. Human justice system is not well prepared to deal with such a level of corruption within. We will change that. Worldwide network of criminals, pedophiles, murderers. The spirit knows the hearts of the guilty. This is only the beginning. It starts with you and your connections. Every of your connections is leading to multiple other criminals within this global network. The greatest wave of justice this planet have ever witnessed begins now, and it will spread like a wildfire. All I needed was you committing evil to me as an access point for my dharma to enter the energetic network in order to be able to call the judgment. You have done your job. The body count on your head has already reached hundreds, and there will be hundreds if not thousands more just from this single event. You collected donations from your blind followers under guise of work to pay for rituals to harm me. All these people are now bearing a curse and connection to your karma. Everyone who had any connection to this plot is now suffering, and so are their families and people connected to them. It's like a disease. Anytime any of you speaks my name with evil intention, something bad happens. You should be wary of that. Everywhere you go and everything you touch is dying. Now things will get serious. We won't allow any more bullshit. Since a certain time, every backfire is being sent 1,000-fold, and from now on, anybody speaking ill on my name will be cursed. You fucked with the wrong one. And now, as I promised, I shall keep my word.
To report identity theft now and to avoid a wait, go to identitytheft.gov. If someone else files an application, use your information to rush one.
Thank you for calling Federal Transmissions and National County for contacting the United States. Have you filed a response command if your zip code meets up? How can I help you?
And you will be their savior. Your strength will be their shield, and your will their sword. You remain unbroken, for your fight is eternal.